Now, with Celtic Frost now being laid to rest, as it were, with the Triptykon albums now, how has your experience been as far as getting the material out there? Is it emotionally speaking? Was this easier for you in that? Was it a cathartic experience? Was it an ecstatic experience?
Both. It's very much both. You also have to approach it the other way around. It's not that I took elements from Monotheist or Celtic Frost with me. Just realistically speaking, 90% of Celtic Frost was written by me. The sound of Celtic Frost is actually my sound, and so I took my sound with me. It's not that I took Celtic Frost sound. Celtic Frost is synonymous with my music. And of course, if I form a new band and I want to further develop that kind of music, it'll sound like Celtic Frost. It's my style. There was a fucking wanker in Celtic Frost at the end who tried to tell people that he had invented Celtic Frost, even though he joined last. Of course, the fact of the matter is I wrote all the fucking stuff since 1984, and it made me infinitely furious to hear stuff like that. That guy rode my coattails on the strength of my music. He toured the whole world and then proceeded to tell everybody that he was Celtic Frost. That made me furious. Of course, I took my music with me. I've been working on my style ever since Hellhammer, and I'm extremely happy. My style is synonymous with my emotions, my feelings, who I am, and it's something that's been growing all my life. It felt fantastic to work, to further continue this style with Triptykon, because finally I had my back free. There are absolutely no human issues in Triptykon. It's a band of friends, and that's like day and night too, unfortunately, how Celtic Frost was in the end. Which makes work a lot easier, of course. It was much easier, in spite of Triptykon's first album having been a very personal and difficult album as far as lyrics are concerned, but it made it much easier to conceive this album.
With a lot of those, if you will, burdens lifted off of your shoulders now, and now being in this fresh manifestation, should the fans expect years in between albums as we did with Celtic Frost, or can we expect a more streamlined experience where you're going to be cranking them out a lot quicker now?
Well, cranking out is the wrong word too, because at the end of the day, we're talking about quality. I'm working on the second Triptykon album now. This is going to be my 13th album, and at this point of my career, nothing is more important than to do the right thing, to do the right albums, the albums the way they have to be. And I have full control of everything. We formed our own record company. I'm not being burdened by some record company deadlines or anything like that. So above everything is the quality of the album. Having said that, of course we want to release albums quicker. I was extremely unhappy with having spent 5.5 years with Celtic Frost creating Monotheist. That it took so long was largely due to the personal problems in the band. These problems don't exist in Triptykon, and I believe I can say we did a comparable album in only like 10 months with Triptykon, and I intend to work like this in the future too. As I said, I'm working on the next album. We currently plan on recording it in the course of next year, 2011. And if we're really lucky, it's going to be released at the end of 2011. If we're not so lucky, maybe early 2012. But it's in the works, and I formed Triptykon as a working band, not as a stagnant studio project. So, yeah, we wanna do albums. There's a million ideas, there's a million projects that we're currently working on. There's going to be a lot of product.
It sounds like there's a lot of energy going on right now.
I feel extremely relieved. I feel free. I feel unleashed. I spent maybe 80% of my energy in Celtic Frost discussing in circles how to save the band, and to no avail, and now I can finally put all this energy back into the music the way it should be. I've become a musician to play music, not to discuss ego trips. And having gotten rid of that burden, as difficult as it was to leave my own band, but having gotten rid of this is so immensely rejuvenating, energizing. And with this band, you know, they're so appreciative. We're friends, and everybody enjoys playing music. It's not about my ego, my small dick, you know. We're actually playing music.
I want to talk about the album cover. You brought back Mr. Geiger to do some more fantastic artwork for you all, and I think it's very appropriate that you have him make artwork, because it's interesting how his artwork can be very sharp, but he doesn't use acute angles. It's very smooth, industrial, and parts of your album cover, as a matter of fact, can be seen as violent, and there's some areas that are explicitly sexual. How does that relate to your new album?
Well, Giger, to me personally, one of the main characteristics of Giger's work has always been that no matter how dark and horror-like it has been, it's always beautiful, it's always aesthetic. And I tend to think that at least we try to do the same with our music. In spite of all the heaviness, the primitive riffs and the darkness, we try to make it aesthetic, make it beautiful. There's always melody and fragility in our music, and his paintings are exactly like that too. Ever since I was in Hellhammer, I've felt that his paintings and our music represent the same approach, the same vibe, the same atmosphere, which is why we approached him in Hellhammer and asked him to work with him. And out of this, first there was a mentorship, and then there was a friendship, and this friendship has never been closer than it is nowadays, and it's a huge honor to work with a friend. It's a huge honor to work with an artist I personally rate a genius.
What will the future Triptykon be overall? Like, what sort of vision do you have for it in general? Is it going to be like 3 albums and quit, or is it going to be you guys just going to play on into the sunset? Is it an impromptu sort of operation?
No, Triptykon was formed as a solid band, and we all have every intention to do this as long as humanly possible, until the first one of us dies, hopefully, which probably will be me. As long as I'm here, I want to continue. I'm extremely happy with Triptykon, and we all know nothing lasts on this planet, but we will try our best to make this last as long as possible. We have a fantastic relationship in the band. We're all friends, and we'd like to put this to use. There's an extremely strong creative vibe in the band. We're all pulling in the same direction, and of course we want to use this to make good albums. So if we have our way, the way it's thought right now, we want to make many albums. It's definitely not just like a project for a certain time. We'd like this to continue, as I actually want Celtic Frost to continue as long as possible. It wasn't to happen, but I intend to follow that path with Triptykon. I don't want to form yet another band when I'm 60. I hope this is the band with which I can grow old and record many good albums.